Welcome to Spoke at BCB Radio 106.6 FM. My name is Sharina Lee Satte and I am a Bradford poet and spoken word artist, and I will be here with you for the next hour talking everything poetry, spoken word and literature. We have a very special show lined up for you today. We've got two guest poets that are going to be joining us and speaking about their poetry journey so far, and yeah, just catching up with them, and hopefully we can hear more of their wonderful work and what they've been up to since they was last on the show. So without further ado, I would love to welcome our two guest poets, Cath, Holland and Courtney. Hi Courtney, hi Cath. It's really great to have you on the show. We'll have you back on the show. How are you both doing?
Very well. Thanks for having me on. Always appreciated.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, it's really great to have you both back, and I just think it'd be just great to just dive straight in. And yeah, I think it'd be nice actually to kick off with a poem. I think I don't always start with a poem, but I think it'd be really good if we could just kick off with a poem.
Lovely. This is called There Is No I in Teams, as in Microsoft Teams, not team. Because during the pandemic, I had a job, a remote job, just a temporary job, and um, it's really, I've just found the old process of working from home and never meeting anyone that I work with ever. It was really odd. It was just, it felt like a metaphor for isolation in society, not just during the pandemic, but normal times as well. So this is called There Is No I in Teams. Nodding off in a Teams meeting at work. Power nap, disco snap, deep dream. Love the dream, sweet dream, soft, safe, snooze, snort, awake, sudden, shock, blink, breathe, breathe. Where am I? Who am I? Buzz, fuzz, check chat, nothing said. Relief, triumph, time freebie. Lean into it, getting one over on the man. Superpower, liberation, remote working bonus. Breathe, breathe. Think, blink. Did I miss anything? Why did they, why did they not miss me? Why did anyone not see invisible me? Why? Anxiety, ego shrinking, confidence killer. Why am I here? I need a new job. Do I need a new job? Maybe. Grounding, humbling, insignificant. Breathe, breathe. Not one person noticed. Not one, even one. Breathe, breathe, breathe. I am here. I am.
Wow, that was such a really, really powerful piece. And I work remotely as well, so I can kind of, I can get the gist of that feeling of, especially team meetings. Gosh, you get so many when you're working from home.
You really do, but it felt because I'd never had one of those sort of jobs before,
Yeah,
and it seemed to sort of reflect the way a lot of people are isolated from society sometimes in lots of different circumstances. But yeah, when my first Teams meeting with people I've never met and I never will meet,
yeah,
no camera on as well, very odd.
yeah. That sounds, the camera off. Yeah, yeah, sounds a bit odd. But thank you for sharing that. And it was very, just the word when you kept saying breathe, it was just very nice. I don't know, it felt good.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. How about you, Courtney? Are you going to be sharing a poem with us?
Yes. Um, yes, I have got a poem. And the poem I'm going to read first is actually the first published poem I got published by Writing East Midlands. It was actually after I came on last time. And it's about me being like autistic and kind of my how I kind of me questioning society, will you still accept me? Will you still love me despite me being autistic and neurodivergent? So this is called Will You Love Me? Will you love me despite the perception you have of me? While I stand in your back garden just stare at you with my fist clenched and my jaw tight like a tiger. All I want to do is hunt, but when I'm not, I want love, to play, to be welcome into your home and eat all your food and tea with you, to be your friend, to go to the park in those raging winds, steal things from the shops like the rebels we are, to truly appreciate the gift of life and nature around us, to go to the beach and feel the soft sand beneath us while our eyes meet closer together. As I stand here in your back garden, fist clenched, jaw tight, red stripes licking from my face and dirt from the fight. All I want to do is change the perspective of society that we are not scary. We are just wired differently. Will you still love me then? Thank you. That was my poem.
Thank you so much, Courtney, and congratulations on that poem being published.
Thank you.
Yeah, just I feel like it's been such a long time since I've heard people share poems. I just get so engrossed, and it's like, wow, I have really missed this because you get stuck in life sometimes, things get really busy, and then when you hear people sharing poems, it's like, wow, I have missed a lot. This is, yeah, so great to be back. Thank you for sharing that poem.
I love the honesty of that one, Courtney. It's very honest and very personal.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I thought, and that is just like a great way to weave in this next question, or first question, should I say, um, is just catching up with you both. Like, what have you been up to since you was last on the show? Are you working on anything creatively new? Have you got anything published? Been to new open mics? What's happening in your world of poetry?
Well, the poem I just read, There's No I in Teams, that was runner-up in the Wirral Prize at the Welsh Poetry Festival.
Oh my gosh,
That's a
that's amazing.
yeah, very recent. But this year I've been submitting a lot of work to either competitions or publications. Um, I do still do performances and readings. Happy to do that, but I've been focusing on writing new stuff and
Yeah.
submitting it to places. So I got a short story in the Flash Fiction National Flash Fiction Day anthology this year, and I was shortlisted for the Propelling Pencil Flash Comp as well. So it's quite nice sending stuff off, and then when it comes back, you get nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice replies. So that's been what I've been concentrating on this year more than anything else is just getting stuff out there because I do like doing events. I like doing spoken word events, but it's nicer to find different ways of getting your work out there because I've had short stories in exhibitions as well on Merseyside, which has been really nice. So I'm just trying to find a new audience, a wider my audience, should I say, rather than yeah, just to get my stuff out there in different ways. Because I think in contemporary times you can end up just doing everything
Yeah.
online or something, or put everything on Instagram, and that doesn't really work for me. I like it to get out of my own sort of personal space, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that's really I think that's important as well to kind of like because I share a lot on Instagram, but that can become like you said, it can become a bit like of a wall, to be honest, because you're sharing there, yeah, it's great, and everyone has their own way of doing things, but I think it's good to venture out and explore ways of submitting and getting your creativity in different
Mm.
platforms, and yeah, I think that's a good thing to do. How about you, Courtney? What have you been up to in the world of poetry and
Mm.
yeah,
Well, a lot has happened actually because I think I came on just in 2023, didn't I?
yeah,
So the poem I've just read was my first published poem by Right in East Midlands. I've been published quite a few times actually, including with Sisterhood Festival, which is beautiful. Um, Last year was quite a big year for me because I had my first headline set. Last year I had quite a few headline sets in person and online. Um, I had a chance to be on some podcasts last year as well, including Spoken Label, which was absolutely amazing. Um, and I got nominated for an award at the end of
Oh,
last year, the Creative Award of under the Spirit of Corby Awards. I didn't win, but it's just the nomination was beautiful, and to be recognised for everything I was doing was amazing. Um, I am currently a shadow writer for Writing East Midlands Beyond the Spectrum project. If you don't know what that is, it's basically workshops for autistic people, which is now national and all age ranges from 11, or shall I say 10, to adults. And I help run the 10 to 13-year-old group. I've been doing that since September 2023. Actually, I've been doing that, so that's still going good. And this year, what have I been doing this year? Is I'm working on a spoken word album this year. Should be out next year,
oh wow.
and I should be having my first poetry collection out next year as well. I've been working on that this year as well. So yeah, this year's working hard. Next year, hopefully, beautiful things will be shown to everyone. So yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. So yeah.
That's amazing, Courtney. Gosh, you've been up to so much, and it's just, yeah, it's so wonderful what you're doing. Um, and I always love that, when creative writers become facilitators and then they're sharing their wonderful gifts with other people, because then you're inspiring more creativity. And again, that's another way of you not not personally getting your own work out there, but inspiring it in others. And I just think that's really beautiful.
Yeah, I get I agree, like it's very beautiful because I think especially inspiring our next generation to express themselves and, you know, help them find their way of using their voice. I think that's quite powerful. That's really powerful, and it gives me quite a buzz. I think that's the right phrase. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I get that feeling as well when, yeah, when I'm doing the same. But I think it's wonderful what you've all been up to. And I just, yeah, just on that kind of like, because there's been so much going on and like new pieces of work being created and submitted and facilitation, like, has your relationship to writing poetry changed? Like, has it evolved, adapted? Have you found new ways of working?
Um, new ways of working. Not really. I think what I've been writing since we last spoke, I've been a lot more economic with words.
Right.
Like I've taken the view with a lot of stuff that I've been writing is that make the reader do some work,
Yeah.
if you like. And rather than it just be not, I've never been on my work's never been on the nose, but yeah, I think the work I'm producing now is there's a lot more layers to it. And I think people can enjoy them from a superficial level, but it's nice when people see the layers underneath.
Yeah.
So yes, I've been a lot more economic with my words, but hopefully I like to think that people get pleasure of doing that little bit of extra work to try and sort out try and just think about it and what I'm trying to say. The hidden messages in there, if you like. Because I wrote a flash fiction called Catnapped, and it's in the flash fiction anthology this year. Monsoon, the book's called, and it's about a, a dead cat that I found in my back garden. And when I read it at events, some people will come up and tell me about their dead cat, which is fine, but it's not actually about a dead cat. It's about like grief in a wider context. So I don't take offense if people just assume it's just about a dead cat, but it's nice when people can see the wider thing that I'm trying to say.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that because most recently I've been working with a young poet, and her work is so like subliminal. There's so much layers to it that when I read it one time, it's just never enough. You need to keep like reading it to kind of like peel the layers away of what it's actually saying because there's just so much to it. And I love that. I love the mysteriousness of how poetry can be. And yeah,
Yeah, I think it's like any art form, whether it's a song or a poem or a short story or a movie. I think if something's really what sets the best things above is that every time you consume that piece, but in any way, you notice something different or you get a different emotional reaction to it.
yeah,
And
that's
that's what
powerful.
I'm trying, that's the dream, isn't it? To produce work that has that effect on people.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, that is, yeah. Oof. Yeah, very powerful stuff. How about you, Courtney? As your writing developed, changed, have you found new ways of working?
I feel I'm gonna try and put this the right way. I feel like my intentions of writing have not changed. Like I've always been a very emotional writer ever since I've picked up the pen. I've been an emotional writer, but my words have, I would say they have definitely developed. I have noticed it over the last couple of years, definitely because I've been through some stuff which will be shown in my first collection. But I think that has made me, I've grown since then, and that's pulled me in so many directions. And I think it's helped me develop my writing and also myself. Like, I now know who I am. I now know who I am. I
Mm.
can put that on the page, if that makes sense. And that comes out in my words and my poetry and how I say things and the message I want to get across. And I feel like my poems now are more they're a lot more sharper. They make sense. It makes it's more emotional, like the way it's written. Because I think when I first started writing, I didn't know how to put those words on a page. It didn't fully make sense. So now after, you know, and I feel like as I'm processing stuff, the page is also processing that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it does. It does. It makes so much sense, and I just love the way you actually describe that. Um, it's very powerful, and yeah, I mean, I think we all evolve as writers and poets and creatives, but it's when we see that within ourselves, which I feel like is, yeah, it's just I don't know, it's an amazing moment actually to reflect on that.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
because even when I've looked back at some of my poems, it's like, oh my God, I cringe at the sight of some of my poems. But in that moment, that is exactly the place I was, what I needed to say and what I needed to get out, and that is how it needed to be. Um, so I appreciate it. So I appreciate what I did back then. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love the growth of the writer. So thank you for sharing that. Um, I think we should go into another poem because like time seems to go so quick when we're doing these, and I want to get in as many as I can. So, Cath, do you want to take it away with another poem?
Yeah, this is called The Day We Got the News, and my husband had cancer, and we went to the consultant to find out the date for the operation to remove the tumours, and then we turned up and we found out that he was going to go into palliative care because there was not going to be an operation. So it was a very shocking day because we didn't expect it. So this is the day we got the news. Let's say we have that afternoon again, itchy for autumn. Me in pale orange lipstick, and your best tweed, with the leather buttons. Facts mouthed at us in a room with no room to move. We hold onto thin, plastic, see-through cups of water, too weak or willful to keep shape. Let's say you are told, be strong, my friend, by the man with no first name. We are fussed over, by mortified women. Let's say we are dispatched with instructions and we sit at the bus stop with boxed pills and synthetic syrup, and let's agree today could have been handled better. Let's say we, you and me, know what to say to each other. I remember smoking. Let's say we say I love you in front of silent strangers. Hold hands for the first time in how long? Show the bus driver your bus pass. He blinks. He knows. Flies us past the giant Asda and manageable Sainsbury's. Let's say we get home to a front door needing a good paint and a living room needing a good tidy. And let's say I put the kettle on. Gives me something to do with my mind. Let's say you put on a Beatles album. Stand there and watch it spin and let it be. You have your coat on. Let's say I watch you. Let's say my shoelace comes undone and I leave it.
Gosh. Yeah, that was, I don't know, do you know when you can just, when you're hearing the poem and it just grips your heart, and I didn't want it to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want it to end. Thank you for sharing that, Cath.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gosh, how poems can rip at your heart. Courtney, would you like to share your poem next?
Yes. So, little sneak peek into the future, guys. Basically, this poem I'm gonna read, is about grief, and it's kind of like it's a nice one because I've kind of put nature and grief together, and it's kind of a nice way of looking at it. I think the poem says everything. So I'm just gonna go into it. It's called "You Are a Butterfly." You are a butterfly, and my life changed when I found you. When you spread your wings, you come to me, especially in the early days, to say, it'll be okay. If you are not a butterfly, then why did butterflies come and give me comfort when I knew you were out there? Why did they give me messages when you flew your wings to join them? Touched by your existence. Why I wonder whereabouts you are in this coldness of nights and on brightest of days. You are a butterfly, a colourful being, pure, loving, innocent, still. As you spread your wings, I still love you the same.
Ah, that was so beautiful. Yeah, just so beautiful. I could visualize today in a poetry workshop. I was speaking to some primary kids, and they was describing butterflies in a magical forest they were creating. I could just visualize your butterfly in that beautiful, yeah, in their words. It just, yeah, just sounds so beautiful. So thank you for sharing that. And I love just how poetry is like a tool to express ourselves and our emotions and our feelings, and we do it all differently. And yeah, I just, poetry is powerful. That's all I've got to say. um and on that note, I would just, yeah, just like to go back to thinking about your poetry themes and the topics that you've been writing about recently. And I know we've kind of like touched on this, but have you found that there's new themes and topics that you're creating throughout your poetry, maybe this year, or when you're submitting, or when you're creating your anthology or your book? What themes are coming up in your writing?
Well, I've written about grief since I was widowed, and that's nearly 6 years now. And as time's gone on, it's always there, but I'm finding different ways to explore it.
Yeah.
So it can sneak into things, but I do mainly write about grief. I think as it just consumes you for such a long time, and it's always with you. It's
Yeah.
like this companion that's that's always with you. So if you've experienced you know, a significant loss, or even a minor loss, actually. Grief affects everyone, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
because it was my husband that died, it had such a your life completely changes, and also you change as a person as well. I'm definitely not the same person I was than when he was alive, um, which yeah, it's been kind of strange, turning into someone else. So I write a lot about grief, but I've also always written about class because it's always been something that it's the I think social class is something that isn't talked about, especially I think in writing as well. People expect, and all the publishing industry expects working class writers just to write about class,
Yeah.
as in, that's all you talk about certain class themes,
Yeah.
or about swearing and drug use and having no money and all that sort of thing. But there's lots of things connected with coming from a lower socioeconomic background. So I'm constantly aware of that. I've written an essay for a book that's coming out at the end of the year. The book's called Bread Alone. It's called Bread Alone. And my essay's about having a career change, like when my husband got ill and then he died. I was a freelance writer before. I worked in media and radio and things, and there's no way as a single woman I could have, kept everything going financially doing that all the time. So I had to get like a job in communications, which is sort of related. It's
Yeah.
related. But I know that if I'd come from a more privileged background, I could have relied on the old school tie or family connections to keep me going in that industry, and I wasn't able to.
Yeah.
So that's what my essay's about. And when I started writing it, I couldn't stop writing it. I couldn't stop, and it was going on and on. I showed it to a friend of mine, and he said, "Oh, this is absolutely harrowing." I thought, "Oh, good." So I've been writing a lot about class as well. That's been bleeding into my creative writing as well. Um, but I mean, I always write about love and its different forms.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so there's my and also feminism. I always write about women, another, so yeah, so grief, love, class, and women, usually, and cats.
I love cats. Love cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't know about well, most poets I know have a cat or has had a cat. Um, or write about cats. So yeah.
They're great. They're really hilarious. I've got two. They're so funny. They're just really funny, and very, very entertaining animals. I don't know how anyone hasn't got a cat. A constant source of inspiration.
Most definitely. I've got two as well. How about you, Courtney? What have you like the themes that have been coming up in your like as you put in your collection together or what you've been just writing about in general?
Yeah, well, my collection's actually the main theme is grief of my collection. Um, just kind of how I've been processing that, and something else that's come up as well is like finding out who I am, understanding myself. That's kind of another topic that's kind of progressed. And I think since since processing the grief, other things have come up as well because I feel like when you go through grief, yeah, or you lose someone, it's not just that happens. I feel like for me, other stuff, other traumas for me have come up like to the surface. I don't know if it's just me, but then now I'm processing that as well. So I feel like I've buried some of that trauma from early on in my life. So I'm kind of right now processing that. So that includes trigger warning abuse, childhood abuse, and sexual assault. I'm writing about that now after a very long time, especially over the last year or so. That's been coming up. I'm still writing about me being autistic and neurodivergent and the mental health. I'm still writing about that, and you know, talk about class, right? I wrote a piece about that actually. It's quite a lengthy, big piece. Um, and that actually felt quite good actually, because we need to talk about that. There is I don't know the word, there is a hidden I don't know the word, it's something that ain't talked about and it needs to be spoken about. I feel like so many things I write about now is taboo. I think, and there you go, there's the word, taboo. And there's so many people like that I've noticed. You try and bring up something, and they'll like silently dismiss you. You're like, oh no, 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 no. But I think the topics that I'm currently talking about
So
is
when you started writing about class, Courtney, did you like open a dam?
yes,
Just loads of stuff comes out. Years of trauma.
yeah, that's kind of what it was. And then everyone was like, whoa, like they didn't expect that to come out of my mouth. And I was like, that's kind of what it was. And I was like, this is how I feel. And it was like a gate has been opened. It's like all hell went loose. And then everyone's like, and I was like, yeah, this is what's gonna come out now because I think I got to a stage in my life, especially over the last year or two, where I'm here like I had enough of being silent. I had enough of being controlled, and I want to use my voice to say what I need to say, and that might help someone. That might change someone's life. Someone out there might be like, "Oh, you helped me," or "I learned something," or "Thank you," or "Can I read this after?" Because it's really, I think someone else might benefit from this, and I think that's yeah. I think I've gone on a tangent, but yeah, that's yeah, that's me.
No, it's really important what you're saying, and I love that you're sharing this because this is exactly what I share in my work, and I'm always like screaming about, how important it is to share our poetry because it might just encourage that one person, like you say, to feel heard, to connect, to feel like they can pick up the pen, or it's just so important. And some people don't get that. Like there's some people that really do not understand that. Um, so yeah, it's so refreshing to hear you saying that, Courtney. And as a young person too, it's very refreshing. And just on that kind of like note, for both of you, it's like, do you feel that poetry is a powerful tool for expressing pain, trauma, grief? And do you feel like it, or does it not, whichever way, have any kind of like healing properties that you may feel, yeah, that helps you along the way when you're expressing?
I think so because I think, especially with grief, because people are so terrified of it. I mean, there's still people now still haven't, I'm sorry, husband died, and I've known them for years, and it's a bit weird. It's just they've never brought it up into conversation. So, because they say, don't they, that someone dies twice when they physically die, and then the last time someone mentions their name. And that's it's a very powerful thought, a very upsetting thought. And I do take some comfort in when I do write pieces, poetry, whether the short stories or that essay that, is coming out, that, you know, my loved one won't be forgotten because they are physically in print, or I've brought them up in conversation. I've read something at an event, and it's made people, ask about what I've written, so it keeps that person not alive, but certainly it warms, it gives me it makes me it makes me feel a lot better about him not being someone who's in the past.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, because when someone dies, the years roll by, the, they sort of fade into the past a little bit, and I don't want him to be in the past. So
Yeah.
it's very much. I think if you can express your grief and your emotions. I mean, even if you happy emotions, and if you're in love, it's nice to write something about being in love, isn't it? And
Mhm.
you know, that's really good. But I think it is quite cathartic to talk about dark stuff in your work. But also, I love to write about nice things as well, positive
Yeah,
things as well. I mean, love on every level, not just romantic love, love for your friends, love for love for writing, love for music, love for, your life.
Yeah.
So I hope that's answered your question.
Yeah, it has. Thank you,
Yeah,
Cath.
yeah, yeah.
How about you, Courtney?
I think it has. It's helped me to process a lot actually, because especially like Cath was saying about the grief, like it's kind of keeping them alive, keeping that memory going. It's helped me to process that grief. Like I think when I first lost, I think I felt very alone, and um the only place that I could find poetry was on my Instagram feed. I'm not even gonna lie about this, but about the grief. I never knew anyone that openly spoke about it. That's just my experience
Hmm.
personally. And I think when I did my first in-person headline set, that was April last year. That was at 1 year anniversary. Because I lost a baby. Just thought I'd say that out loud so everyone understands. And it wasn't until then I met someone, brilliant young person as well, absolutely fantastic. They actually had a collection out about grief. And I went, and they were phenomenal. They were phenomenal. And that kind of made me, I guess, made me start my own collection. Because I'm here like, that really touched me, meeting someone else. And it felt like I wasn't alone. I wasn't alone in my feelings. I wasn't alone in my thoughts. I wasn't going crazy, especially as a young person. When people say, "Oh, grief," or they expect you, like, I think there's a stigma attached. But yeah, I think that's why I'm writing my own collection, just to kind of get the message out there. It doesn't matter about your age, your gender, your your race, where you come from, your sexuality. Grief can come at any time and at any place to anyone at any stage of their life. And yeah, but as well as that, I don't want to keep talking about that. But yeah, I think the other stuff I've wrote as well, like that I've previously mentioned about the abuse, the autism, the neurodivergence, the mental health, it's helped me to process that. It's helped me to find out who I am. I still write a lot of nature stuff. I still write I've been writing a lot more mythical character stuff. Um, I've recently been accepted into an anthology about fairies actually and mythical characters, which comes out next month, which is
Oh, wonderful.
beautiful. Yeah, I've written about my sexuality as well under a LGBTQ plus anthology,
Amazing.
which was nice. Just finding out who I am really, and I think writing about those deep and trauma experiences has helped me to be able to make space for that other stuff. So I think that's really beautiful as well. So yeah, that's kind of my answer. I hope that answers it.
Thank you, Courtney. And I just want to say, like, I'm so sorry for your loss, and same to you, Cath, as well. And it's kind of like I really appreciate you being so open and honest to speak about this because, as you say, like a lot of people struggle to speak about grief, and I think it's difficult, but it's very important to be able to share these difficult conversations and speak about how we do not overcome it, but how we find comfort in some things such as poetry to be able to share what you're feeling. So yeah, just thank you both for being able to just be so open and be sharing about this because I know it's not always easy for a lot of people. Um, and I just think we should go into another poem. So, Kath, do you want to take it away with another poem?
Okay, so this is about record collecting, which is very close to my heart, and it's something that's a lifelong passion. And yeah, so this is just called Records. Before you sing out of tune, how the vinyl record boom is a sound carrier sin, a fossil fuel folly. I will ask if you have known love, the deeper love that lasts lifetime long from teenage on, the constant kind. A love round and shiny, the love you pull out of a cardboard sleeve and paper suit. Have you settled it around the spindle, flat on the platter? Heard the click in greeting as the turntable starts and circles. The cautious crackle as the stylus rides the spiral. Do you close your eyes or watch it spin? It's up to you, but you'll listen deep for sure to the familiar. Relive, remember robust memories and create new ones. Love is love, and records are records. But sometimes love shifts, don't it? There's no makeup after breakup. You outgrow each other, want different things, and you find a new love to move to your melody, to crush on your chorus, to sing to your solo, to admire your grooves and shine. Love is no single use, and 750 million albums and 45s, they live in global record collections, loved well and not doing anyone any harm, aside from the shelving, holding them upright and ready. If you have moved on, love again, you honour your past, polish over scratches and the shellac, repair rips and tears and let it go. And swap for a song fresh and new to you. From another who hands it over and says, take care of this one. It's a good one, and you don't ask why they pass it on. There's no judgment here. You get it. You've been there, done the same, felt the pain, lived it, loved it. A reflection of affection over multiple plays, selection, perfection, conviction for real that never goes away.
That was just, yeah. As you was reading that, I was picturing along your lines, like when you said like moved on and loved on, and then you said there's no makeup after breakup, and there were just so many beautiful lines in there. And I was just remembering when I was a kid and my dad had a record player, and that nostalgic sound of when you put the needle to the record and it's making it like it makes this really weird like crackling type
Yeah,
noise. And
it
I
does.
just, yeah, and that just, for your poem, it just hit my head like, oh, that sound. And then if you accidentally move it and it makes that scrape and it's like, oh God, to your ears.
Your dad shouts, "Don't do that." I think with I think with anything, whether record collecting or book collecting, it's a very, very personal thing. It's a very
Yeah.
personal thing, and you have a strong emotional connection to wherever it is. And it's weird when I said maybe you don't maybe listen to a record anymore and you sort of taste shift, and you'll sort of swap it with someone or you'll take it to a record shop and get a credit voucher and buy another record. So it's very much an ongoing relationship that you have with records and books. I think it's not the sort of it's not so it does remind me a little bit of having like a good romance and then it coming to the end and then not having any bad feelings, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just reminded me of like obviously when it's going around and then you're waiting for the song to come on and it makes that noise and it's just, and then if you do get a scratch and then you're gonna get your backside whipped because it's like God, ruined you've
Well, if you
ruined
ever
the
come
thing.
round to mine, you do not do that to my records. I'll tell you that for nothing.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's just, and it did. So I could see that whole picture of that, and then the love relationship weaved into like how you've got to nurture and look after it. Otherwise, yeah, gosh, the delicacy of it. I don't feel like anybody's so protective over there. I don't know. Maybe they are, but I just feel like back then there was some kind of like you had to be extra protective with your records and tapes and cassettes and videos because they just break so easily and get destroyed.
Yeah, yeah, and also I think because at the time we're living in now, it's all lots of AI, and I think sometimes the world doesn't feel real. So it's
Yeah.
nice to have that thing that you can hold in your hand. You think, well, this is real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
I
isn't an
agree with that.
AI,
Yeah.
reenactment of anything. So that's something beautiful about that, I think.
Yeah, definitely. How about you, Courtney? What you're going to be sharing?
Um, I'm gonna be sharing a poem that I actually wrote on last year's National Poetry Day, which was the theme counting, if anyone remembers. Uh, the theme hand in hand with my personality because I've got this growing up, I love maths. So this theme was very this I literally took it the mathematical way and my special interest in one go. Um, and it was a different style for me. But yeah, this is called stargazing. 1 + 3 = 4. What the system keeps correcting it to 1. I wonder what could have gone wrong. But then I realised that 4 - 3 = 1. I'm the only one left in this apocalypse where zombies are let loose to bleed all over, but angels are allowed to be set free, so they no longer feel pain. I'm left stargazing the northern lights, and the only way out is for me to turn into a witch, move them with my power in this apocalypse where zombies are let loose to fight us all over again. But I am not the only one feeling that they are system's error.
Thanks so much for that, Courtney. And yeah, the theme of counting is quite interesting actually. But I love how people just take that and take ownership and create something wonderful out of whatever they want to do. Because a lot of people went down the counting route with incorporating the mathematics. And I love that because it's a different kind of spin on things. And it's not something that I did. Yeah. Maths has
Yeah.
never been my strongest point.
Yeah.
Um,
I think for me, like because I think before this, I never really took maths like that on my side. I never really thought, oh, I'm gonna write a mathematical poem like that. I never really thought
yeah,
about it. And then one day when that thing came out, I went, poof, let's write it. I was like, let's go for it. I kind of took a risk in my writing doing that, but it worked. I think it worked well. So
it
yeah,
did, definitely.
I'll take that.
Yeah, great poems. And as I say, like the time's just flying by. And yeah, I just want to just fire away another question of just thinking about like your creative practice. Is there anybody like on the creative scene, or is anyone in the music industry that's having like an impact on your creative writing? Or anyone you just want to give a shout out to basically on the in the literature world of poetry.
To be honest, I'm going to go local because I'm in Birkenhead, which is just across the water from Liverpool. It's like 10 minutes, maybe. And we're very well served in Liverpool on lots of levels when it comes to writing and poetry. But we've got a really brilliant bookshop, News from Nowhere, and it's a radical feminist bookshop, and it's been there since 1974, I think.
Wow.
And whenever you go in, it's everything's independent in there. Obviously, there's books from quite big writers and everything, but you just go in and there's just a pile of pamphlets from local poets, national poets, book collections from poets from all over the shop, and fanzines. And you go in there and it smells of incense. And then they've got all these wonderful notebooks as well that you could just, oh, I could write some lovely stuff in that. But it's just a really inspiring place. It's just, if there's any independent poet, you go in there, you just know you're gonna be able to get the book in there, or the pamphlet, or the fanzine. So I think independent outlets like that have stubbornly carried on despite everything that's happened in the last God knows how many years. There's something really inspirational about that. And very you definitely feel part of a community, because I think whenever I've had anything published, it usually ends up in there. You know, so I had two things. I was in Dyslexia magazine once, and I was in an anthology as well, and they were on the same shelf. I was going, oh, this is the Cath shelf. I was really made up. It's a place you can go if you want to read anything that's not sort of mainstream, but lots of poetry, lots of short story collections, and lots of stuff about women and class as well. It's a really nice little shop. I think possibly every town and city's got a hub like that of some description that's just carried on and just does its thing and does it really, really well, and is really inspiring and a nice warm place to go into.
Oh, it sounds magical, like really
Mm.
beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Courtney?
Yeah, I think for me, there's a lot of people and a lot of places. I think, especially over the last couple of years, when I was talking about I'm writing a lot about a lot more stuff now.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of people that I can say that and a lot of organisations that I can say have helped me with that. But if I was gonna pick one, I just want to say thank you now for whoever's listening. You've all helped me. Okay, I want to say that now. Yeah, but I think I am. I am actually gonna say my publishers. They are Poetic Edge Publishers. It's run by Ashley Edge. Because I think they are a wonderful human being, and they are one of the kindest, most accepting, most realist people. And I think them allowing me to be published is a dream come true. Because I think for me, I've always struggled with English at school and my writing and struggling to express on the page, but I think they kind of saw my writing, saw my emotion, saw um just saw me for who I am, and they've gone, okay, I see you, and I still want to publish you anyway. And I just want to say now, thank you from the bottom of my heart, because yeah, just thank you, yeah.
Thank you, Courtney. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful words, and for both of you for just being absolutely incredible guests. And yeah, just what always comes forward in all of the shows and speaking to you both as well is just like just how powerful poetry is and how it weaves into our lives, and it has branches of just sharing so much. But I don't know, I feel like it brings us together, it unites us. Yeah, and you're both just doing wonderful things, and I just really appreciate you being with us and sharing your stories and your journeys. And I just like to ask if you'd like to leave us with not just a poem, but just, yeah, any words of wisdom or encouragement for those out there that are thinking, I'd like to start writing, but I don't really know where to start. Or yeah, just any words of encouragement for new writers that are wanting to think about getting their poems out there. And leave us with a poem as well, please.
Yeah, I think any new writers just do it, and then there's always lots of open mic nights at most towns and cities, I think, that you can just go along and put your name down and just read whatever you've got and get some feedback. I think open mic night's usually pretty positive. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever been to an open mic night, but they've booed. Not booed me anyway. No, I don't think so. I'll probably blanked out if they have. I've done them where they just haven't understood what I'm saying, but that's fine. I don't mind that. But no, I think most of the time open mic nights are really, really nice. I just write your words, get down to an open mic night, you learn your craft, meet some nice people, be part of a community, and just crack on. Yeah, everyone's got a right to express themselves. Yeah, in poetry. So just go and do it. This one's called Supermarket Flowers. Timed out, tired out, factory farm flowers in the supermarket on a Sunday afternoon. Broken backs, dry stigma, slope style and hidden ovary. Petal fringed by crisped brown lace as the clock tick-tocks to early closing. You feel so sorry, you buy a bunch. With considerate fingers, peel away the dimpled cellophane. You fill your mother's clay vase, the one she kept her darling garden daffodils in, with rainwater from the water butt outside. Plop in a hard white aspirin. Enjoy the fizz and pop. Snip the stem tips at a soft and loving angle. Arrange each in the vase to best advantage. Try not to notice petals coming away. You wish good things to those clinging on. Is that sad of you? You tell the flowers they are pretty and important and necessary and deserve to live in the sun-trapped nook. The next morning you see the leaves perked up a bit, the stalks strengthen. You refresh the water. A single petal falls. The day after you smile at the ovals no longer floppy. Is it your imagination, or are they a firmer yellow now? They have the will to live. You congratulate yourself on the brightness, lightness brought into your home. You pick a flower, the biggest one, lift it to your face, press your nose into the pistil. You forget what it was like all the other times. You wonder what it was like in virgin bloom. Picture it, give it clean air, sunshine, rain, bees earning a sugary reward. You try again. Take a sniff. Like winter, it smells of nothing.
You always leave us on cliffhangers. Always like, I'm like, I
I
want
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone gave me I'm seem to be talking about my employment situation quite a lot, but I had a job a couple of years ago and they left me some flowers from a supermarket. They gave them to me on my final day, and they were £2.49 from, the budget um supermarket, and they just didn't smell of anything. And they died within 2 days. And I just kept thinking about, the flowers that are sent over from the grown in these big warehouses over the seas. They've flown over to us, sold for buttons, and then they don't live their best life, basically. They don't smell of anything. There's no bees or anything like that. It's just really sad.
Yeah.
That's what inspired that. Supermarket flowers.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I like that concept. It's educational as well.
Yeah, because I've got a rose bush, and all the roses are all different sizes, and they look really scruffy, but they smell really nice, and they live their best life. They get bees coming to see them. They're fine. I feel
Yeah.
they're scruffy, but they do their job, and they live their best life for how many weeks?
Well, that's it, isn't it? They're happy. They're
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
that
I hope so. I hope so.
Thank you, Cath. How about you, Courtney? What's your words of wisdom and what is going to be your final poem?
Yeah, like Cath said about a community, the poetry community is absolutely amazing. But on top of that, I'll just say a couple things. Um, just if you ever want to pick up the pen, you know, just write what you feel. I thought that's what's helped me. It's just even if you just pick up the page and just write one word on the page, you've still written something, you know. And just express yourself. Be honest with yourself. Let it out. You know, be true to yourself because that's what matters. And on top of that, don't ever give up. Your words matter because no matter what happens, you know, your voice matters and your words deserve to be heard and your voice is important. So I think that's my main words of wisdom. I know that's short, but that's something that I carry with me every day, especially if I'm having a bad day or I get a knockback or whatever. I remember that. I'll be like, my words are powerful. They can help someone. You know, someone can be touched by them. So I think that's my words of wisdom. And my last poem is kind of about, it's kind of been my last few months. It's kind of where I'm at this moment in time. It's kind of about me finding myself and being true to myself again. And it's actually called Coming Home. I spent like a million nights alone, broken souled in the bed. Too many cold days spent wondering when the final goodbye would be. A glimmer of light ain't enough to stabilize all the shattered pieces of the core that was meant to form. All there is pictures as memories as us in the same place, but not in the same time. I know I'll leave a mess behind, or at least just for a while, but I have been gone for way too long. I'm coming home. I'm finally coming home.
Oh, I wish I could like clap really loud and click and make loads of noise because that was just a beautiful ending. Um, Beautiful, beautiful words from both of you. So just thank you so much. And thanks for being incredible guests on Spoke Show once again.
Oh, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. You have been listening to Spoke at BCB Radio 106.6 FM. Until next time.